Well, hey, good morning to y'all. Man, I'm having an amazing morning. For some reason in Missouri, it's been really cool summer. I mean, there was like a 2 or 3 week stretch where it was hot, but it's very unusual. Normally it's like 100 and something every summer. And it's just been unusually cool, very beautiful morning. And I was walking, trying to get some exercise. Came out to Lake Jacomo, beautiful place. But as I was out here, I really kind of felt like I'm getting, like you ever get like a continual message from God and you're kind of like, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this, God? Like this thing that just keeps happening over and over and over again. Well, for me, because I have that thing, but for me, what that thing is noise. Like even now, you can hear an airplane. Hold on. Loud airplane too. There's an airport near here, so of course, you know, that's what you're gonna get, but there's just always this constant state of noise. And it's unusual noise. Like for example, yesterday I tried to find a really quiet place to fish and film. Gosh, plane sounds it's about to land on me. Actually, I'm gonna let it keep. Normally I would have to pause, but for the sake of this video, it's gonna keep going. I think it's perfect. But there's so much noise. Like even here, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. There's no other people around. But there's this constant state of noise of airplanes or boat motors or just something. You know, there's even a remote control airstrip near here. But it's everywhere. And you know, so I just want to talk about the noise for a second, because I think, you know, when you're trying to find a quiet place to film, for example, you begin to notice it more, I think, the noise that's around you. Because I would argue about 300 days a year, at least, at some point during the day, I need it to be quiet so I can film. And almost always, there's some sort of noise, like some sort of something backing up and beeping, and I've had times where it's unusual. Like I remember, well, just yesterday, again, when I was trying to find a quiet place, and I went out to James A. Reed Lake. I've never even seen a person out there. And I thought, well, I'll fish out there. Like I've never even seen a human out there. And I went out there and there was nobody there. And as soon as I threw that line in and started talking on camera, a truck pulled up, pulling a trailer, and a lady got out and got a mower out and started mowing. I remember one time going out to the woods, just trying to find a really quiet spot, and somebody real close by, right when I started filming, started running a chainsaw. And I kept thinking, well, God, what are you showing me in this? Like, what is this? And here's what I get from him. That our America, almost every household has 5 to 15 gas-powered noisemakers. Something that makes a ton of noise. Maybe not even gas-powered, but like a mower, a chainsaw, a saw of some sort, leaf blowers, weed eaters, four-wheelers, bulldozers, motorcycles. Like, we all have a bunch of that stuff. And at any given time in America, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise if you really thought about it. You know, there is a lot of noise. And even if people aren't running those things, they're constantly glued to some sort of a screen. And that's even terrible noise because they are caught in a series of algorithms that feed them what they want to hear. And they're really just in a vacuum, you know, with noise. Almost literally like being inside a vacuum cleaner, really. But they're inside this vacuum where they just hear this noise that only comes from one line of reasoning. And the problem is, where's God in all that? Like, where is he in all that? You know, like, just think about it. Where is God in all that noise? Can you find him in there somewhere? I mean, just pause for a second. Be like, you in there somewhere, God? All that noise? Not really. I mean, he's there, but you're being distracted. Like, you can't put your eyes on him, and you can't put your ears on him, and you can't put your heart on him because of all the noise. Like, you know, like even yesterday, I texted my wife and I sent her this video here that I'll show you. I said, you know, I can't believe it. Like, literally, I came out here and this is what I get. You know, mower just as soon as I pull up. And this morning, she said, like, it was weird. And maybe that's why I was thinking about it and praying about it. But she said, and I agreed with her. She's like, God's clearly, like, that happens way too much. God's clearly trying to tell you something. And as I walk around here, out here listening to the planes and the boats and the traffic off in the distance, I can also hear birds tweeting. I can hear his creation there. And it's beautiful. And Romans tells us that his invisible attributes are clearly seen. Like, they're clearly seen. These things like the birds tweeting and the hum of the bugs. Every now and then a squirrel chattering at us. His invisible attributes are clearly seen in all that noise. And I just think it's important to just somehow get away. You know, even if it's just put earplugs in or something. When you try to spend time with him. But he's there. He's there. And we just have to figure out how to stop the noise, you know? Like, last year, my wife and I went to Europe, and I'd never even been out of the country before. And, you know, I spent a ton of time in New York City where there's a non-stop. I mean, there's no way you're finding quiet anywhere in that city. Anytime, anywhere. And you kind of get used to it. But then, like in Europe, like people don't own a bunch of gas-powered things. Like, and I really think that's a huge piece of it, is that nobody's really running mowers or chainsaws or leaf blowers, or it's just quiet. People don't talk loud. People talk loud here, by the way. I was out in the woods 2 days ago. There's a big loop out at Unity Village. It's actually a city, strangely. We, side note, grew up when we did go to church, went to the Unity Church. But, you know, obviously that's not what I'm interested in now. But they have a beautiful trail. And that's a whole other video, what's wrong with that. But it's a beautiful trail. And it does a loop, like a 3-mile loop kind of thing. And the whole time off in the distance, I can hear these women talking, like they're next to each other and maybe a mile away. And they're just making such a ruckus. And it's amazing that I just really think it's the US only. You know, again, anytime You know, I've reflected on people in Europe. You know, anytime you hear anybody talking loud, it's a guarantee it's an American. Guarantee. And I don't know why that is, but I do know. Let me get rid of this spider web on me. But I don't know why. You know, maybe it's because there's so much noise, subconsciously we feel like we have to talk loud. I don't know. Because you know, if you think about it, you know, I remember when I was a kid, my parents had like one of those 70s stereos, and they had the big puffy earphones, and I remember just listening to a record or something, and my parents would ask me something, and I'd be like, "Why?" You know, just kind of yell, "What'd you say?" You know, because you kind of reflect on, well, I can't hear, so I feel like, you know, subconsciously you're just talking louder. And I believe America is terribly distracted by the noise. And I believe God is absent in many people's lives because of the noise. It is a very successful tactic of the devil. Fire up those mowers, fire up those leaf blowers, fire up those noisemakers, man. Get them going. Listen to how loud they are, man. And, you know, for the sake of me having to not find quiet places, I hope this is the lesson God is trying to show me. I hope it is, because it's hard to keep trying to go, what are you trying to teach me, God? You know, like, why? Like, it's just almost too much of a coincidence, you know, or too much to be a coincidence, you know, so to say. Like, you know, I'm out in the middle of nowhere and suddenly somebody pulls up to mow. I mean, like, and if it happened once, sure, but that's happened to me hundreds of times. Or something like that, you know. And I don't know. Welcome to America, the land of the noise. The land of the God distractors. That's what we are. We are God distractors. Or distractors from God. No, we're obviously not distracting God, but we are distractors from God. And it just doesn't seem to ever let up, you know? And I know there's some of you that live out in the sticks and you're like, that doesn't happen to me at all. But honestly, even when I'm out in the sticks, like, because we have a place, a little cabin down in Camdenton, and in the Ozarks, we're in the middle of nowhere, but man, I could always hear. Seems like there's always some truck working on something in the background, or a boat going up the river, or something. Always something. Somebody sawing a tree down off in the distance. Something. So, you know, enjoy the quiet when you can get it, because it seems to be further and further in between. I think the sad thing is even when it is peaceful and quiet, people just grab their phones, you know. And I believe this is an important message from God that, you know, this kind of nonsense has to stop.